Welcome back, everybody. If you're new, my name's Nicholas, and this is Investing Against the Grain. Well, this is a pretty ugly Monday if you ask me. Lots of red everywhere. So in today's episode, we're just going to unpack about what might be happening. Why is Tesla down so much again, right? And we're now looking at about 30% over the last month. So we're going to unpack that a little bit. And we're also going to take a look at some potentially exciting news to be coming out regarding Tesla, but it might not be this year. So before we get into all this, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and we're going to try to make some sense of all of this together. So let's jump into it. So here we have Webull, and we're taking a look at Tesla. So we're just going to level set here a little bit. And here you can see right now we're at about, call it $900. We're down about 3.4%. And really, it just hasn't been good all day. I mean, at one point, Tesla sold down, right? I mean, we have hit about $897 today, but initially we sold down, and then it seemed like we were rallying, right? It seemed like we were, okay, we're eating all of this up, and we're going to keep going up. And then, boom, we just sold off, right? We had lower highs, and we had lower lows. And it just kept going down. And then we hit 893. And again, it seemed like, okay, we're rallying. And no, again, we get hit back down. If you ask me, this has all the hallmarks of Elon Musk selling. Now, I don't know if he's selling. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. We won't know until tonight or tomorrow night until the SEC Form 4s are filed. But it's kind of what it feels like to me. Hopefully he is. I think if he is, I think that's a bullish sign for all of us, especially getting closer to the end of 2021. We want him to finish selling. We want this to be over and behind us so that we can start off the new year's on the right foot with hopefully higher highs. Now, with that said, I think there's more to this than just potentially Elon Musk selling. So let's take a look at the different reasons why this all might be happening. So if we take a look at CNBC, check out this headline. Goldman cuts GDP forecast after Senator Manchin says he won't support Biden's Build Back Better plan. So two things to note here. One is that this obviously affects the whole EV tax credit that a lot of people were really optimistic about for Tesla. Now, the reason this was so optimistic for Tesla and not so much for anyone else is because Tesla is actually making electric vehicles in volume. And so with regards to this tax credit, Tesla would have been the biggest beneficiary of it. Now that's gone. Now, again, I have said this for the last, month and a half, that I don't think this bill should be passed. Let me rephrase that. I don't really care about the bill. I don't think the EV tax credit part of it should be in this bill. I don't think it should be part of this conversation. And the reason for that is I think it stifles innovation. I think it gives other companies a crutch to not be forced to innovate. In other words, if a company is making an EV and they aren't being profitable with that EV, well, they're going to have to figure out ways to make the battery more efficient. They're going to have to find ways to run less wiring in the vehicle, how to make it more aerodynamic, how to reduce the drag coefficient, how to make the vehicle in less parts in a smaller line, right? Reduce the amount of robots. All of those things lead towards innovation and towards better efficiency when it comes to the vehicle. However, if a company is given, $6,000 to $12,500 per vehicle as a buffer for that, no company is incentivized to innovate, right? Margins and capitalism do work for innovation. So for all those reasons, I'm happy this is actually essentially getting nixed. Now, Goldman Sachs seems to be of the mindset that this is going to hurt GDP forecast for the next year coming up. We'll see what happens. I honestly don't think that's going to be that big of a deal. I think that passing this bill could have been more troublesome for inflation, at least in the current state. Something like this might have been good in the future if we were just in a more tempered place when it comes to inflation and the Fed, but that's not where we are today. And I get it. There's a lot of good things in this bill. In my opinion, there's a lot of bad things as well. But, right time, right place matters. But as far as the EV tax credit, I think that was bad. That shouldn't have been in this bill at all. I don't think we need it. This isn't 2005, 2006. It's not early 2010s. We're in 2022, almost in 2022. just about every car commercial I see now is electric vehicles. This is happening. The transition's there. We're moving that way. We don't need any more incentives for this. It's happening. Okay, it's happening whether government's part of it or not. So let capitalism reign. Let things happen organically, and I think we'll see a good outcome. Now, this, I think, has suppressed the stock a little bit, but I don't think this is the only thing. So let's take a look at some other news. Here's a Twitter thread from Sawyer Merritt from just a few hours ago. News. Brandenburg's Prime Minister Wojtke, I think that's how you say it. Pardon me to all my German friends out there if I'm mispronouncing it. I'm doing my best. Expects final approval for the factory of Tesla Giga Berlin in early 2022. The approval will come at some point, Wojtke said in a press conference at the end of the year on Monday. It goes on to say, in quotes, I don't know exactly on which day of the week now, but it is foreseeable. It will probably be at the beginning of the year. So I think this also might be, hurting Tesla today. The fact that this news is out there. Giga Berlin does not seem like it's going to open in 2021, at least not by all the rumors and reports we're getting. So that means it'll open up in 2022, which again, for us long-term holders, who cares? What's it matter? A month here, a month there, it doesn't matter. It's honestly benign. The bigger picture is what matters. And I think this news has suppressed the stock. You add in the Build Back Better, stuff, and it starts to compile. But again, I don't think this is the only thing that's affecting it. I also think we have other things happening. Right, so we talked about Build Back Better plan affecting the stock. We talked about this Giga Berlin being delayed, but then we also have fears of Omicron. Okay, fears of Omicron seem to have skyrocketed higher than initial COVID to begin with, or even Delta. People are acting like Omicron is just the worst of all of them. Yet, from what we can tell, and it's still early innings, but from what we can tell, it seems like Omicron, although it is the most contagious, it does seem to be the most mild of all of the COVID variants so far. So, not to say we shouldn't take it seriously, but I don't think the reaction that we're seeing in the market is warranted based on what we already know about Omicron. And it's going to change. It's an evolving story. It always is, right? We should always, rethink of what we know as data comes in. But as of right now, I think people are worried that factories are going to shut down. Companies are going to, be forced to put everybody back at home. Governments are going to have to shut down. Everyone's going to have to lock away for another 2 weeks and all that stuff. I think those days are behind us personally. I don't think that we're going to get back to that type of world. I see, there's protests all over the world against these shutdowns, against these mandates, against these lockdowns. And I don't think humans are meant to be caged up like this, and we're revolting in general. And so I don't see anybody being able to go back to that, especially now with everything we know. Now that we have vaccines, we have boosters, it's, there's just too much out there now. We have therapeutics. It's just a whole different world than what it was back in late 2019, early 2020. So I don't think Omicron is that big of a concern for the markets on a holistic perspective. So Build Back Better, we have Giga Berlin delay, we have the Omicron, then we have Jerome Powell and everything that's going on with the Fed, right? I mean, all of that is still kind of being taken in by the markets. The markets seem to be a little slow to react to some of this news. It's no different than when we see with Tesla earnings. When Tesla earnings come out, it seems like it always takes about 3 to 5, trading days before the market actually digests what just happened with Tesla earnings. So on top of that, we also have Elon Musk selling. And Elon Musk selling is also putting downward pressure on the stock. So it's just a series of unfortunate events for Tesla shareholders, at least on the short term. Long term, hey, this is what this channel is about, long-term investing. 5 years from now, you're not going to care about this. You're not going to remember this. It's going to be a bump in the radar. But for someone who's looking at the stock every day, which, I encourage you to do as long as it doesn't make you sick and doesn't make you feel overly emotional or doesn't lead you to make a bad decision. In the short term, it's kind of messy, right? Like I said, we've got Giga Berlin delay. We've got Build Back Better plan getting essentially canceled. We've got Omicron concerns. We've got Jerome Powell and interest rates. We've got Elon Musk selling. I mean, it's just a whole host of things that are just kind of piling down. And then keep in mind, Some people are trying to sell before the end of the year. Other people are trying to sell in panic to preserve their gains for 2021. So there's just so much going on that we don't really know what's happening and what's causing the sell-off. But what we do know is that Tesla is at a 30% discount from its all-time highs. And if you think that in 2022, Tesla is not going to get back to 1,200 or higher, if you really think that by 2025, we will not be at $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 per share, well, then what are you doing here, right? I mean, if that's your perspective, that it's going to get to those levels, then none of this matters. So just, as you watch this, as you see what's going on, as you track Tesla, keep the bigger picture as the main goal, all right? We're looking further down the road. Lots of noise now, lots of stuff going on, but keeping the main thing, and that's long-term thinking, long-term investing. So with that said, I'd like to end this in a kind of chipper note and a happier note. So let's take a look at another tweet. It's getting harder and harder to see inside the factory with all of these walls going up. Peter Dog wants to know if somebody can please do something about this. And this is obviously in jest, talking about Giga Austin here. And what's interesting is that Elon replies to this saying, Tesla will hold a Giga Texas grand opening party with factory tours for the community in early 2022. So I think this is very bullish. Hey, listen, even if Austin and Berlin don't open up by the end of 2021, that's fine. We can go into 2022 with 2 brand new factories set to open with grand openings at both factories. I mean, Berlin already had theirs, but I think that, we got to remember, a month off here, a month off there, we know it's here. We know it's imminent. It's going to open. It's going to start production. And the other thing is, these factories are ready to go. Berlin is already testing out these lines. And as soon as they get the permit approvals, that they're full throttle. So I think we're going to see faster ramps than anticipated from both of these factories. Now, this, I think, is a bullish sign. I think what's going to happen is we're going to go into the end of the year with Elon Musk finishing selling of his 10%, his roughly 17 million shares. And I think that's going to be a big boon to the stock. And then we're going to get the deliveries for Q4. And that's going to be yet another catalyst for stock. And then we're going to start hearing some stuff about Austin or Berlin or both of them. And they're going to open up. And that's going to be another big element for the stock. And then we're going to get into Q4 earnings at the end of January, and that's going to be big for the stock. And then during that call, Elon Musk is going to talk about Tesla's product roadmap moving forward. So I think there's so much to come still, so much to come. So just sit tight, enjoy the ride, think long term. You're going to be fine. We're all going to be good here. Life is all about taking things in perspective. So with that said, we're going to leave it here for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you enjoy your week. I'll probably be putting out a video maybe every single day up until the holidays. So, keep an eye out for that. But with that said, I love you all. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. I love you all again. Peace.